Did you ever notice the small but powerful clue in Downton Abbey Season 3 that quietly reveals Lady Mary's hidden affair? Most viewers missed it, but this single moment carries layers of meaning. It's not just about romance, it's about secrecy, power, and the risk of scandal in a world where one whisper could destroy an entire family's reputation. Today, we'll pull back the curtain on that hidden detail and see Lady Mary's story in a brand new light. Lady Mary Crawley is more than just the eldest daughter of the Crawley family. She is the very face of Downton Abbey's future. Every step she takes, every word she speaks, is measured against the heavy weight of tradition. As the heir's daughter, her life has never been her own. It has always belonged to the estate, to the family name, and to the unspoken rules of English high society. From the very beginning of the series, we see her walking a tightrope between her private desires and her public duty. In Season 3, that tightrope becomes even thinner. Mary is under immense pressure not only to marry well, but to secure the survival of Downton itself. The estate is facing financial troubles, and every suitor is judged not just by his love for her, but by what he can bring to the family. Yet beneath the polished exterior, Lady Mary is a woman of passion. She may appear calm and controlled in drawing rooms filled with whispers and glances, but when the doors close, her heart beats with the same fire as any young woman searching for love. It is this conflict between duty and desire that opens the door to her secret affair. To the world, Mary is the perfect example of grace and restraint. But her moments of vulnerability reveal something far more human. She longs to be seen, to be desired, to feel alive outside the endless expectations placed upon her. This is why her private encounters, no matter how carefully hidden, carry such enormous risk. For Mary, one mistake does not simply tarnish her reputation. It threatens to unravel everything her family has worked to protect. This is what makes the hidden detail in Season 3 so important. It's not just about a glance, a touch, or a whispered word. It's about how a single slip can expose the truth behind the mask. The world of Downton Abbey is built on appearances, and Lady Mary's affair becomes a dangerous game of silence. Every small action becomes loaded with meaning, every exchange heavy with unspoken consequence. It's within this carefully woven world of shadows and secrets that the clue to her affair quietly sits, waiting to be discovered. Every great secret in Downton Abbey begins not with a loud declaration, but with the softest of whispers. Lady Mary's affair is no different. On the surface, her life is surrounded by elegance, grand dinners under glittering chandeliers, polite conversations across endless corridors, and carefully arranged meetings with wealthy suitors. But behind those layers of tradition, a storm is quietly gathering. Mary's romance begins in the most dangerous way, through stolen glances and conversations that linger too long. What makes this so risky is that Mary is not just any young woman. She is a Crawley. Her choices ripple outward, shaping the future of Downton itself. For her to let someone close, especially outside the clear path of duty, is to gamble with the very reputation of her house. Yet that is exactly what she does. Her affair begins not with passion alone, but with the ache of wanting to be seen for herself, not as an heiress or a symbol of Downton's survival. The man involved is no simple figure either. He enters the story carrying his own charm, intelligence, and a subtle confidence that Mary cannot ignore. Their connection grows in the unlikeliest of places. Small moments when society looks away. A dance that lasts one beat too long. A conversation in a hallway that ends with silence heavy enough to suggest more. For Mary, these moments are not only thrilling but also terrifying, because she knows the stakes. This is not a world where secrets remain buried forever. The brilliance of Season 3 is how the writers let this relationship bloom in shadows. Nothing is ever shouted aloud. Instead, we see tension woven into Mary's smallest gestures, the way she avoids certain questions, the way her eyes lower when his name is mentioned, the quick changes in her tone when Matthew or her family appear. These small cracks in her carefully polished mask tell us something more is happening, something she desperately wants to protect. And this is where the audience, if they're watching closely, can sense the shift. Mary, usually so composed, begins to show signs of conflict. Her loyalty to her family clashes with her personal longing. Her grace under pressure starts to falter in moments when she thinks no one is looking. The affair doesn't erupt in scandal immediately. It simmers, quiet and delicate, like a secret letter slipped into a drawer. But those who know how to read the language of Downton, the pauses, the glances, the silences, can see the truth hiding just out of sight. This setup is not only the foundation of Mary's affair, but also the key to the hidden detail that comes later in the season. Because in Downton Abbey, the smallest gestures often speak louder than words. The most fascinating secrets are never spoken aloud. They live in the quiet corners of a story, waiting for sharp eyes to uncover them. In Downton Abbey Season 3, Lady Mary's hidden affair leaves behind just such a trace. It is not a letter, not a scandal splashed across the family's breakfast table, but a single overlooked moment that tells us everything. The scene seems ordinary at first glance. The Crawleys are gathered, voices are polite, the rhythm of their lives unfolding in the usual way. But then, there it is, a detail so subtle it almost disappears into the background. Lady Mary receives a comment, light on the surface but heavy in meaning, and her reaction is the key. For a fraction of a second, her composure breaks. Her eyes shift, not in the calm, deliberate way we expect from her, but in a flicker of recognition, an unguarded moment that reveals a truth she never speaks. What makes this moment so powerful is how quickly it passes. The camera does not linger, no dramatic music plays. It is gone in less than a breath, buried beneath the weight of the scene. But when you know her secret, it is impossible not to see it. That single glance becomes a confession, silent but undeniable. The brilliance of the writing is that this tiny clue is layered. It works in two ways. For the casual viewer, it looks like nothing more than a graceful silence. For the attentive fan, it becomes a spark, hinting at emotions that Mary has fought so hard to hide. It is a visual slip, one that reveals her heart before her words ever could. Even the setting adds weight to this hidden detail. The grandeur of Downton, with its golden light and heavy shadows, frames her secrecy perfectly. In a world where appearances mean everything, the smallest crack in her mask becomes the loudest truth. It is here that the writers reward careful watching. They don't need Mary to speak the words, "I am keeping a secret." Instead, they let us witness it in her stillness, in the way her breath catches, in the sudden shift of her gaze. This is what makes the hidden detail so haunting. It was always there, right in front of us, but only visible to those who refuse to look away. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Lady Mary's affair is no longer a whispered rumor in the background. It becomes a living tension woven into her every move. Every secret in Downton Abbey is more than just a plot twist. It is a mirror reflecting the constant battle between tradition and desire. Lady Mary's hidden affair is no different. That tiny, fleeting detail we uncovered is not just about romance. It is a symbol, quietly capturing the essence of who Mary is. A woman torn between the heavy chains of duty and the unstoppable pull of her heart. Think of the moment again. The slip in her composure. The glance that gave her away. On the surface, it is almost invisible, but beneath it lies the weight of an entire world pressing against her. Downton Abbey itself is a place where appearances are polished like silver. Every smile is measured, every silence calculated. In such a world, one moment of vulnerability becomes explosive. Mary's hidden reaction is not just a private slip. It represents the fragile balance of power within the Crawley family and the society they move in. This detail also acts as foreshadowing. It is the writer's way of whispering to the audience. Mary cannot keep both halves of her life intact forever. Her loyalty to Downton, her love for Matthew, her longing for freedom. These forces are pulling her in opposite directions. That single gesture shows us the storm already gathering inside her. What she hides in silence today will echo in choices she must make tomorrow. There's also something deeply human in this moment. Strip away the titles, the gowns, the grand estate, and what remains is a woman trying to hold together two versions of herself. One, the perfect daughter and future wife crafted for society's gaze. The other, the passionate soul who wants to be seen, loved, and free. That flicker in her eyes is not just Mary. It is all of us, when we hide our true selves to meet the world's expectations. And that is why the hidden detail matters so much. It is not only a clue to an affair, it is a window into Mary's soul. A reminder that beneath the rituals of Downton lies a beating heart, desperate for more than tradition can offer. The grandeur of the Abbey may stand unshaken, but inside its walls every character is fighting their own quiet war. Mary's secret affair, and the subtle clue that a secret is never just a secret in Downton Abbey. It is a stone dropped into still water, sending ripples across every corner of the Abbey and every life within it. Lady Mary's hidden affair, and the tiny detail that betrays it, may look like a whisper in the background, but its impact stretches far beyond that fleeting moment. First, it alters how we see Mary herself. For much of the series, she is the embodiment of composure, sharp, confident, unshaken by gossip. But this hidden clue reminds us that beneath her flawless exterior lies a woman vulnerable to desire and mistakes. Suddenly, Mary becomes more than the perfect eldest daughter. She becomes complex, conflicted, and achingly human. For viewers, this shifts the balance. We no longer look at her only with admiration. We watch her with empathy, knowing that her silence hides a cost. Second, the affair changes the fragile web of relationships around her. With Matthew, her future is supposed to represent stability and the salvation of Downton's legacy. But when the audience sees the sign of her secret, it casts a shadow over their romance. Every smile she gives him, every promise of loyalty, now carries an unspoken question. Can love built on duty survive the weight of unspoken truths? The writers never scream the answer. They let us feel the unease, hiding in Mary's silence. Beyond Matthew, the impact stretches further still. In a house ruled by reputation, Mary's smallest slip has the power to shake confidence in the Crawley family itself. Imagine if the wrong person had noticed that detail. The servants, her sisters, or worse, society beyond Downton's gates. The entire balance between tradition and scandal could collapse in an instant. That is the power of secrets in this world. One hidden affair could undo generations of dignity. And then, for the audience, the impact is even more personal. The detail becomes a gift, a reward for paying attention. It deepens the experience of Season 3, turning Mary's story into more than a romance or a family struggle. It becomes a lesson in how truth always leaves a trace, no matter how carefully we try to bury it. By planting this clue, the writers make us participants in Mary's secret. We are no longer passive viewers. We are confidants, keepers of a truth Mary cannot speak aloud. In the end, the hidden detail reshapes the entire season. It turns Mary's affair from a passing storyline into a defining moment of tension, love, and risk. It forces us to see Downton not just as a grand estate of polished silver and perfect manners, but as a place where every glance, every silence, carries the weight of history. And it reminds us that the greatest dramas are not always shouted. They are whispered, left for those willing to look closely. It is her battlefield. In the end, Lady Mary's hidden affair is more than just a chapter in Season 3. It is a secret written between the lines of Downton Abbey. That fleeting glance, that subtle shift in her expression, becomes the thread that unravels her carefully woven mask. It is a reminder that no matter how tightly the Crawleys guard their dignity, truth always finds a way to shine through the cracks. Think about it. One tiny, easily missed detail transforms how we see Mary, how we view her choices, and how we understand the entire season. It's not the grand speeches or the sweeping romantic gestures that reveal her most deeply guarded truth. It's the silence, the stillness, the heartbeat she cannot hide. This is the genius of Downton Abbey. It doesn't just tell us stories. It hides them in plain sight, waiting for us to notice. For Mary, that hidden detail is a turning point. It speaks louder than any confession could. It captures the duality of her world. Elegance on the outside, chaos within. And for us, the viewers, It becomes a secret we now share with her. Once you've seen it, you cannot unsee it. The story changes, the season deepens, and Mary becomes not just a figure of duty, but a woman whose heart beats with risk and vulnerability. So now the question is yours. Did you catch this hidden clue when you first watched Season 3? Or has it slipped past you, hiding in the shadows of the grand estate? And more importantly, what other secrets do you think are buried within the halls of Downton Abbey, waiting for someone with sharp eyes to uncover? Because in this world, silence is never empty. Every pause, every glance, every unspoken moment carries the weight of a story untold. And Lady Mary's affair reminds us that the real drama of Downton is not always in the scandals we hear, but in the secrets we almost miss. So look closer, listen harder, watch again. Downton Abbey rewards those who do not take its beauty at face value. And if Lady Mary's hidden detail teaches us anything, it is this: the greatest truths often live in the quietest shadows. And so, we arrive at the quiet conclusion of Lady Mary's hidden story. A detail so small, so fragile that most eyes never even noticed it. But once revealed, it changes everything. It is not a love letter tucked under a pillow, not a scandal shouted across the Abbey, but a moment so delicate that it feels like a ghost drifting through the corridors of Downton. This is the true brilliance of Downton Abbey. It is not only a series about grand estates, war, and inheritance. It is a story about the silences that shape people's lives. The Crawleys live in a world where one word spoken too loudly could destroy generations of reputation. And yet, despite their care, the truth always escapes. In glances, in hesitations, in shadows. Mary's affair is proof of this. Her mask is flawless but not unbreakable. Her secret is guarded, but not invisible. In many ways, this hidden detail is the essence of drama itself. The idea that the most powerful moments are not the ones shouted, but the ones whispered. A glance across a table, a breath caught in the throat, a silence that feels louder than a scream. These are the details that make Downton Abbey timeless, because they reflect life itself. We all carry truths we cannot speak, and sometimes they reveal themselves in the smallest ways. So as you leave this story, remember, Downton Abbey is not only about the visible drama, the dinners, the proposals, the arguments in candlelit halls. It is about the drama you almost miss, the stories buried in the spaces between words. Lady Mary's hidden affair may have lived in secrecy, but the detail that betrays it is a reminder that even the strongest walls cannot keep the truth forever locked away. And perhaps that is the final lesson of Mary's story. In the quietest moments, the loudest truths are found.